Roman is the biggest bad guy character in professional wrestling.
When's the last time you got laid?
French Toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Like, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Can we tell the truth about Dusty sooner or later?
Less people wanted that than are currently watching our stream.
And you know Vince, and you still think, are these true? It's like...
Welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Welcome to the Mark It Down podcast. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I am Matt Cascone. I'm here with James Hizanti, and we're here to review Clash at the Castle, WWE's premium live event today. I guess we're also joined by James's dog I hear in the background.
Wednesday. She had strong opinions about this show, and we're excited to get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. They start off big with the rematch from Backlash, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the WWE Universal Championship, or what is it, Undisputed Championship? I don't know what it is.
Universal Championship.
Regardless, they're having a rematch. This time it is a I Quit match, one that Cody has never been in, and one that AJ Styles, they talked about it a couple times, is 4-0 in, but has never been in at a WWE I Quit match. So kind of cool that they acknowledge his past. He does have a plethora of wrestling experience outside of WWE, most notably probably TNA, who WWE is currently working with. They didn't mention TNA, but it's definitely like what they were mainly alluding to. And also during the press conference before this, Michael Cole said, AJ Styles, what do you do if you don't win this match? And everyone's like, TNA, TNA. So it's definitely something that was on the mindset of knowledgeable fans, and an easy Google search would have led you to that destination, as they say, that Destination X. Regardless, this match kicked off the show. How'd you feel about them doing a world title match in the start of the show, James?
I thought it was the right move. Obviously, nothing was going to be bigger for this crowd than Drew versus Priest. So that had to main event. I know some people are viewing this as sort of an indictment on Cody, and I don't think that could be further from the truth. I think this is a matter of start the show with one of your biggest stars, end the show with what should have been the biggest crowd pleaser. I thought it was a great start. I thought the match delivered in a lot of ways. I'm not a huge fan of I Quit matches. I like, not that I'm against the concept of somebody quitting. We see tap outs all the time. It's just, I don't think I've seen a truly satisfying conclusion to an I Quit match in a long, long time. And it's because the matches themselves are so brutal typically. It takes so much to get to that point of I quit, that the thing that usually causes the official I quit always sort of falls a little flat for me.
I think that definitely happened for me tonight. I mean, if I had a growling dog at me, I might say I quit.
That's true.
And I will say...
Makes you feel better. That was a snoring dog.
Oh,
so
okay.
You don't have to worry too much.
I mean, if it was past my bedtime and I was trying to sleep, I might say I quit and go to the other room. But as far as tonight's match, yeah, I didn't even see the Backlash match, so I need to see that. I mean, it's a 5-star classic, as they say, as it was rated. I will say for the most part, this match hit. To me, there was a couple instances where it didn't. I think handcuffs are totally overused in I Quit matches now. I think, thank God they didn't get his mom more involved. I think that's kind of been a trope as well in I Quit matches, where it's just like, he's so darn strong, he'll never say I quit. But let's threaten his wife or his mother or his girlfriend, and that'll be what is the tipping point. And it's just kind of like, okay, the first time I saw that, it was kind of cool, but I think it's become a stale cop-out. So I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
There were some spots that didn't work for me, like the belt over the bloody forehead that AJ just could not. It kept slipping off, and you knew watching it, they probably told him, without question, do not put the belt around his neck if you do that, we will fire you or you will be fined like $1 million. We don't need another Daniel Bryan, Justin Roberts choking incident.
Yeah.
So that was kind of obvious, and AJ tried to recover from that, but the crowd wasn't letting them have it. That spot that we're showing right now, we're showing a spot where AJ is doing the phenomenal forearm. He's got his arm wrapped up in the chain, and you know this is not going to work. We've talked about these chain, tie up spots that just don't work. Luckily, Cody threw a chair at him, hit AJ. He comes crumbling down from the ropes, and he actually goes through a table perfectly. And indeed, the chain immediately fell off his arm. So that could have been a spot that just looked terrible. That actually looked really, really cool. But I think it was definitely the way to start. I mean, like you said, some people complain, like, why would you put Cody in the start of the pay-per-view and not the end? We have to remember, Cody main evented 2 nights of WrestleMania. He then main evented the next show, Backlash. He then main evented the next PLE in Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel. He just did 4 main events in a row, and they needed something strong to start up this match, and nothing was going to main event this match but Drew McIntyre. So why not put Cody in the front?
I completely agree. I think if this show happened in any other crowd, any other venue in the world, Cody was going to be main eventing 5 pay-per-views in a row. But no, I have no problems with how the match order went. I think Cody is a smart guy, and he's not going to have a problem with his placement on the show. And I think the crowd got the main event match that they deserved. We'll get into that more, though.
Yeah, we'll get into that more. But I think if Cody doesn't main event the next 2 pay-per-views, then there's room to talk about like Cody's positioning and like how things are going for him.
Well, let's look at things right now. We're in mid-June. We're going to have one more premium event in July. I can't.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank in July. That could main event. It's always a 50-50 if the Money in the Bank ladder match or a title match main events those shows, but it's a toss-up. SummerSlam, and Eric in the comments saying what I was about to say, no way Priest versus Gunther is the main event at SummerSlam, and I agree. Like, whoever Cody wrestles at SummerSlam, that's the main event. Gunther versus Priest, sorry guys, I guess we spoiled it, will not be main eventing SummerSlam.
Yeah, Money in the Bank, you never know. Like, I could definitely see Cody main eventing, but I don't think they would want to do something like if it's Cody versus Solo. I don't think they would want to cash in a failed cash in attempt. Like comes in, gets a DQ, tries to do a cash in, it doesn't happen. Like they wouldn't want to end the pay-per-view on like bullshit that doesn't, get resolved that night.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. Again, we're talking about something that's still 2 months away. There's still a lot of storytelling to tell in the meantime. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Tribal Chief making a return at SummerSlam. I wouldn't be. And I'm not saying to go against Cody. I'm not saying that we're going to get a rematch, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cody is involved with some bloodline shenanigans in some shape or form. And with the rumors of who might be winning the Money in the Bank, there's a lot to think about. There is a lot to think about. But we are still in Scotland today. We are still celebrating Clash at the Castle. So let's focus a little more on the here and now. But
absolutely,
Eric in the comments saying they got away with heel versus heel tonight because Drew is the hometown hero. Where is Drew the bad guy in any of this?
He was high-fiving people on Monday.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm speaking purely in kayfabe. I am not a deranged fan. I'm not talking about real-life human beings. If I could kill the CM Punk character, I think I would. If I could kill that character, I would. And
he's turning into an annoying pest.
He's always been a piece
of shit. As far
as I'm concerned, I've been dealing with this douchebag since 2009.
Douchebag character.
All right. I think sure. I've been dealing with this douchebag character since 2009. And when he first screwed over Jeff Hardy with Money in the Bank, then I had to deal with him versus John Cena. Then I had to deal with him versus Daniel Bryan. He's been yucking my yum for over a decade. And again, I'm talking purely character. I'm not talking about any real life stuff. Phil Brooks, I'm sure you're a piece of shit too. But beyond that, I don't care about. I'm not talking about that. I'm sure you're lovely to certain people in the state of Illinois. But I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the character and how much you have been ruining my wrestling life for over a decade.
Well, we'll get into that later when his shenanigans show up in person. We got a comment from Dev Finch.
Hey, Dev.
Hi, Dev. I think Cody, KO, and Randy versus the New Bloodline at Money in the Bank. That could be.
I can see that, honestly. I can see that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we didn't get to it, but like after Cody wins this match, the New Bloodline come out to beat up Cody, and Kevin Owens and Randy Orton make the save. So it definitely there's definitely a trios match in there somewhere.
Yeah. This tweet, AJ Styles, as soon as Cody Rhodes grabbed them steel steps, and it's a picture of SpongeBob in terrifying agony underneath a giant steel step.
It's the clip where SpongeBob says, "I'm just as cool as Larry, and if I'm not, let me be hit by a giant ice cream truck, and then and live." That's the clip, but they replaced the giant ice cream truck with the steps.
Right pitch. You hit the right pitch. That was pretty good.
Thanks, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that ending either. I feel like if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna threaten a guy and he says I quit, and then you do it anyway, one kind of like a heel thing, I'm willing to forgive it if it's a cool spot. And hitting someone with the stairs isn't particularly cool. It's not the John Cena doing the attitude adjustment to Batista onto a car, which literally led to Batista quitting WWE. Like, it doesn't get any bigger than that. And this was nowhere near as big as that. Personally, I'm going to leave it at this. My final thoughts on this match. The AEW Adam Copeland versus Christian I Quit match, I thought was more satisfying than this.
I agree. And you did not like that. You did not like that finish, if I remember correctly.
No, I did. I think it was the only complaint I had was I would have handcuffed Mama Wayne to a corner. Like, she got to run away because I think they didn't want to have the implication of like man on women violence, which I totally get.
Yeah.
But again, I think it would have been comical just to have her handcuffed in the corner and like nothing else happened to her.
Yeah. No.
That was my only complaint. I really did. We also all complained about the timing issue they had with that ending.
Yeah.
But overall, I liked it a lot.
I thought this match did everything it needed to do. I'm very interested to see where AJ goes from here. He did the whole I'm going to retire thing a couple of weeks ago, and now he did quit this matchup. Obviously, they are acknowledging the fans being into the idea of him making a TNA appearance.
Which would be great.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was very against it for years. He never really indicated that he wanted to go back to TNA. He kind of made it clear that was in his rear mirror, but now he seems to be a little more open to it at the very least, or at the very least he's smart enough to go with the crowd on certain things. And I think it would benefit everybody greatly if he had a little run in TNA. Quite frankly, I'm not wanting him to go anywhere. I'm very happy with him in WWE, but I think it's fair to say he's getting a little stale, unfortunately. Like, he's been doing the same thing for years. Why would
even this slight repackaging he's had? It's just the fact I don't think there's anything left for him to do in WWE. I mean, like, he has, I think his next accomplishment would be either winning Money in the Bank, winning Royal Rumble, or being in the main event of WrestleMania. But you have to be hot to do any of those things, and he's not the hottest he's been. So I think going back to TNA just for some appearances could really revitalize him, freshen him up, even if he's doing like an old school kind of throwback thing. It's either you disappear for a while, but he's already done that, or you do TNA, because I don't think there's really anything he can still do in WWE that he hasn't done already.
No, not currently. I mean, he could win a tag title. They're like, what?
Sorry, that clip.
That's sweet. Yeah. That should
I
answer your question,
believe
Kevin.
in Joe Hendry.
Kevin asking, do we believe in Joe Hendry? We're just getting comments thrown at us right now. Priest won it last year. What did Priest win last year?
Money in the Bank. My theory on that, and I'm not sure if I ever said it on the pod, was I think that was when Vince McMahon was kind of back, but kind of not. I think Triple H wanted LA Knight to win, and Vince McMahon was like, hell no. And Vince McMahon wanted Logan Paul to win, and Triple H is like, absolutely not. And their compromise was Damian Priest on Money in the Bank.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I loved Priest winning. I never had an issue with Priest being Money in the Bank winner. The issue came with them booking his run as Mr. Money in the Bank so poorly, so ineptly. He looked like an idiot during the majority of it, and we had to explain to ourselves why he wouldn't cash in at multiple points that would have made so much sense. And
he literally had to say it in an interview that he wasn't allowed to cash in on Seth because he was hurt. And it's like, why can't you just tell us that on TV? That would be very informative and helpful.
So we have a lot. There's a lot, in my opinion, there is a lot riding on this next Money in the Bank winner. I think there's a lot riding on it because of how lackluster this last year was with Priest. Granted, the moment at Mania was great. It told a beautiful story, but I think it was more of a story for Drew than it was for Priest.
And even Punk.
Kevin asking, are we going to Forbidden Door? That is the plan. Have we bought tickets, Kevin? No, we haven't. We will probably figure something out very soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll go as a pod. My connections, unfortunately, I will not be able to get just a freebie ticket this year. So I might have to buy a ticket with the pod boys. But I can't think of anyone I'd rather. I can't think of anybody I would rather sit with than these guys. So.
Danny saying, point is, you don't have to be hot to win Money in the Bank. Yeah, no, I agree. Did we say that? Did we say you needed to be hot to win Money in the Bank?
I said AJ Styles about winning Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, or main eventing Mania. You don't have to be hot to win Money in the Bank, but I think you have to be hot to win Royal Rumble, or at least you have to be hot to be in the main event of Mania.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But all right, just final words on this matchup. I thought both men delivered in a matchup that is hard to deliver in. The finish fell a little flat to me. I love the post-match shenanigans as we're gearing up for Team Cody versus Team Bloodline Wolfpack, as Danny would say. And I'll be honest, I am shocked as shit they've held out this long on Randy versus Cody. I for sure thought that was going to be the main event of SummerSlam, but I don't think that's happening.
I think they're being very protective over Randy. There was that whole thing about him not having a one-on-one match with Roman at Royal Rumble because they wanted to save that for later. And I still think that was a bizarre choice. I think even if Randy lost at Royal Rumble, we would have been over it by now,
Deb saying he thinks LA Knight or Jey Uso wins the Money in the Bank. Danny's right there with you. He absolutely thinks LA Knight should win Money in the Bank and cash in and main event everything. A lot of the rumors are saying maybe Uso, maybe our favorite Uso.
He did get a big video package tonight.
But there's lots of opportunities. I personally think LA Knight is 100% gearing towards Logan Paul.
Yeah, U.S. title. Agreed.
So I think that's the right way for him right now. That's the right way for him to go.
He's a guy I don't think you need him to cash in to become a world champion.
It depends. I think as a heel, it would do wonders for him. As a face, no, I don't think that's the play. Kevin saying Ethan Page. He is in a good place right now. Danny saying he'd rather see Corey Graves versus Logan Paul than LA Knight versus Logan Paul. Oh yeah, that's because he wants him to win Money in the Bank and win the world title.
Okay.
But all right. Let's move on to the next matchup. Anything else you wanted to say?
Nope.
Alrighty. Producer boy, what was our next matchup?
I got it. The next matchup was but it's got to be on the label. He'll catch up. Our next match was the women's tag titles. We had the champs Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus the Unholy Alliance or Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark in a triple threat match. And right off the bat, I'm like, I was 50-50 on who was going to win this match. I just knew 100% Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, they are taking the pin. They are taking the L, the submission, whatever you want to call it, however it comes out. That's what's going down. And I would say off the bat, I think just a little note for Alba Fire. I think she needs some more direction with the camera. Like she comes out, I think either she grabs a flag or she had the flag. She never held the flag out like this. She was just kind of like going like this the whole time. It's like you want something that people are going to take the picture of, and that's like what's going to make you marketable.
I think they wanted that for Drew only.
Oh, okay.
Because
that's a good
Drew
point.
made a big deal of it twice, once at the press conference and then again on his entrance. I think they wanted to reserve that image for Drew.
That's fair. I do have some other complaints about her camera wise, but I still actually like her a lot. She's actually, I think, like low key my favorite out of all 6 of these women. And so they come out. It's nice to see them get the spotlight because if you remember when Alba Fire and Isla Dawn were drafted to the main roster, I believe last year, or it might have been 2 years already. Last year, they were drafted to the main roster and they were NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. They were champions. They lost the unification match with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. And then we basically never saw them again. Like they did nothing on the main roster. There was a joke about Nick Aldis, like looking at Isla Dawn's cleavage. That was like the only thing like that was happening this year with them. So it was great to finally see them being showcased. And yeah, it was probably because they were, in their home country, but it's a showcase is a showcase, and they took advantage of it. I think this match, one more thing about before I actually get into the action in the match, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, I thought their outfits were interesting. Like Jade Cargill, I guess kind of going for like a Scottish warrior kind of vibe.
They explained it on commentary.
What was it?
Legion of Doom. The Road Warriors.
Well, okay, that's what they were going for. I remember they mentioned that, but I thought that was just a theory. I wasn't sure if that was confirmed or not, but I liked it. I think if they go to Japan, Bianca should definitely bring back the spiky hair, the hair tail. That could be kind of like a Godzilla look. What do you think?
I mean, I think anytime they do something a little different, a little interesting, I'm always all for it. I don't know if they would need to recreate this personally for me. I'm never a big Road Warriors guy, I'm going to be honest. But
me either. But I thought it looked cool regardless.
Yeah, no, they did. But
sorry, keep going.
No, I thought both women looked awesome. Jade, her entrance is cool. Her entrance is just friggin' awesome, and they knew what they were doing with her. But yeah, I would be down for them to redo this one in Japan or wherever they may go. But truth be told, I don't think they're going to make it that long.
Well, maybe not together. I would still like to see them do a similar look in the future. And I also wonder if Bianca would be allowed to whip anybody if she had spikes in her hair. Like, would that be acceptable? Who's to say? I would say probably not. But let's get into the action in this match. I thought everyone performed really well. I had what did I have? I had a couple quick notes. Yeah, that's a little negative note. I'll skip that. Michael Cole did a great job of commentating, like kind of building everybody up. He mentions like Shayna Baszler, she's a 3-time tag champ. She mentioned that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn had been tag champs. And I was kind of mad that he didn't talk more about Alba Fire, but he did later on in the match. He mentioned that she is a former ICW champion. ICW, they'll talk more about that as the night goes on. I was about to say Scottsdale, like we're in Arizona. Scotland wrestling company that is I wouldn't, maybe not near and dear, but like they've got some association here. Like they're kind of.
Drew has a history there. Drew has a big history there. Yeah,
definitely. We'll get to that. And luckily, Michael Cole did mention that Alba Fire is a former NXT United Kingdom champion. I believe the longest of all time.
She had a lengthy reign with it.
Yeah. there was some cool spots in this match. Jade hit a double spot, like a double fall away slam. And then she did a kip up. Alba Fire did a great suicide dive that like the camera almost missed, but it was actually kind of cool the way the camera was set up. Like you didn't see it coming. She just comes barreling like through across the TV screen. It was awesome. And I really liked Alba Fire throughout this match. She was kind of like just like rough and edgy kind of moves. Like it looked like maybe not the prettiest, but like it looked like, damn, that's like a solid move. She made some solid connections there. And then unfortunately, we get towards the end of the match. And this is where it just all falls apart. And it just
No, hold on. That tweet. Go back, producer.
let's go back to the part.
Everybody's favorite meme of the day. Adrenaline is my game. Women's tag team champion. Talent name. Gotta love a good flub for a title match. Brilliant.
It's a big one.
You know, somehow Tony Khan's going to be blamed for this, but okay.
Yes, if you're listening to us and not watching, Cody Rhodes in his match when they did the name graphic, it was insert women's name for like a tag title championship, and so they messed up bad on that. Cody Rhodes is neither a woman nor a women's tag team champion.
Presumably.
But back to the women's tag team championship match. Jade Cargill gets the hot tag from Bianca Belair. She goes to do a springboard dive and she flubs up and she kind of like crashes like in front of Shayna Baszler. She has to get up. She panics. She starts hitting Shayna Baszler. Like it's all fine. Like, you know, like you recover the best you can. You do what you can do. And she hits some like decent power moves. And I think it was salvageable. Like it sucks. Like the worst time to flub up, I think, in a match is either A, in a hot tag, or B, in the finish. And she unfortunately flubbed up with the hot tag. It happens. She tried to get through it, but just nothing was really working after that. The match was good until Jade botches. To be fair, Daniel Hernandez, she had been in the match before that, and she wasn't botching before that. She was doing solid work before that. And again, what happened afterwards, she botched, and then it just all fell apart. No one could like really recover. Like
Great.
Even at one point,
Great
who
question.
is more green, Jade Cargill or Shrek? Oh God.
I don't know. I've seen Shrek work a match, and it was a great battle royal.
Pile driver.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty seasoned vet at this point.
I mean, it wasn't just Jade though. Like when Bianca went for a 450 and her like knee went into like Shayna's like neck.
No, it was her back, and it was brutal.
Well, one knee was on the back, the other was on the back of Shayna's neck.
I thought they both went right into the spine, and either way, that was a rough spot to watch. That was, I mean, thankfully Shayna seemed fine, but that would kill me.
I mean, that's literally a spot that could paralyze you.
Yeah.
Like you do enough force.
And look, Bianca is not some green talent herself. She's
of course not
been around the block here, and we know she's a tried and true star. So look, the reality is, unfortunately, accidents do happen. Thankfully, it seems like everybody walked out of that okay, but rough spot. And I do agree with Danny's comment here. Jade, as soon as Danny saying Jade tapping in the sleeper was weirder than the botch on the springboard. I agree. And what I think made it even weirder was commentary highlighting it. They mentioned it the first time, and then they kept bringing it up.
But she kept tapping. That was the issue.
Well, no, she didn't, though. She did it initially in the beginning, and then she stopped. She's doing her thing. She's just holding on to it.
And then she was kind of doing like this. Kind of just like a very light.
I don't know. Commentary made it really bad. It was a bad camera angle, but at the same time, you can't deny the fact. It shouldn't have been a bad camera angle. Jade just did something weird there. And I think commentary made it worse, but
it was very bizarre. But I think commentary, they're just trained. But then again, they don't really highlight botches. So you're right. It's kind of, it just, everything fell apart, unfortunately.
But yeah.
Then Jade, I don't even know if she even hit a finishing move. She just hit a move, I believe, on Baszler. And then Isla Dawn came in, hit a move on Jade. Alba Fire was able to kind of hold Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair back while Isla Dawn made the pin. We have new women's tag team champions. Like I said, 100%. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark were there to take the pin. And the crowd luckily responded big to this. They were very positive, despite all the shit show that happens in the closing moments of this match. The finish, the 1-2-3 went over very well. And this is the other complaint. I think Alba Fire, they were never really facing the camera at the same time, really.
Well, Alba was not concerned about really playing to the crowd on this one. I don't know if you know, and I know commentary did bring it up at the end, but this was a very emotional month for Alba, who lost her. No, was it Alba or Isla?
Alba Fire.
Who lost her mother.
Yeah.
And she absolutely, she went to her husband, she went to her father. She cared more about the moment there than being on screen. And I'm willing to 100% give it to her. This had to have been one of the most emotional matches of her career, if not the most emotional match of her career. And it might not play super well in a hype package later on, in a replay package, but I'd rather her surround herself with the people that were going to make this as good an experience for her than anything. And Isla did a good job of really playing to the crowd and, playing to the camera. They did have that great shot of them. I wonder if Matt likes CM Punk. Good question, Danny. They do have that great shot of them in the ring after they had gotten their flowers, literal flowers, and posing with the championships, with Isla on her knees and Alba standing. So I think they'll be fine on that. But I do get what you were saying.
Yeah.
This tweet, Bianca and Jade elevated the hell out of that women's tag division, but the women's singles main event desperately needs them. We'll get into that in a second, but go ahead, Matt.
I just want to say it's great that they were finally really showcased on the main roster, and it's in a pay-per-view, a premium live event, and they won. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you want to see. You don't want to see these half-assed attempts. This is great. This is great for them. They earned it. Can't wait to see what they do. And, what's going to happen with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair? Who knows? I'd rather them lose these titles before it gets stale.
I agree in that concept. There is no way this was stale. They won it at Mania.
Before it gets stale.
No, for sure.
So they lost it before it got stale.
And I agree, but we didn't even really have, in my opinion, there really wasn't even truly a moment to enjoy it either. They were dealing with damage control again a little after Mania, and I could not tell you what they've been doing for the last month. I guess they've been setting up for this match.
They had a match in Saudi Arabia. It was the pre-show match. So at Crown Jewel, they defended the titles against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell.
And Danny's right. They didn't even win at Mania. They won it at Backlash. They had these belts for 2 months.
It was a short reign, yeah.
I understand the concept of what you're saying. Leave them wanting more, but I didn't even get to settle into the title reign here. I will go back to Danny's comments. It's crazy that they beat them in 3 minutes on Raw. He says that's some Vince booking and showing that Triple H still has those tendencies themselves. The only thing that makes this tolerable or more palatable, other than the hometown pop, was it's a triple threat. They made it very clear that Jade had the match won, but then Alba stole it.
They also said that they didn't try on Monday. I mean, that could just be an excuse.
Yeah,
but at least it's on paper. They're like, why would we try when we have the title match on Saturday?
I would not be shocked if this was a moment for the crowd and then Bianca and Jade win it again pretty quickly. But
okay, I could also see that. We'll see.
But we shall see. Danny saying it doesn't make the Raw match justified and it was garbage. I'm going to agree with you on that one. I'm going to agree with you, but at the very least, I can headcanon it as these are undeserved. This was an undeserved win or an unearned win. An unearned win. But, yeah, good for the new tag team champions. I'm glad you got your moment at home.
But yeah, let's move on. That's all I got.
Let's move on to the next one. I believe, what was the match?
The next one, we have my favorite. It was Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship.
Love this matchup. Great
Yeah.
match.
I didn't write a lot of notes. All I would suggest is you watch it. Really solid, both in-ring work and character work from everybody. Notably, Tozawa was not there. Chad Gable came out with Maxine Dupree and his number one guy, Otis. I assume maybe because Tozawa is Japanese, maybe his visa doesn't allow him to go to Scotland.
Too.
Yeah. So,
admittedly, even if he could have been there, I think it's kind of an overcrowded outside area. I think it's better that it was just Otis and Maxine. But overall, excellent matchup. Gable has settled into this heel role beautifully. He is playing a master manipulator, a master gaslighter, and overall a giant prick. And I never thought that I would buy that from him because he's so likable.
And he's like 5'9", and he's a giant prick. I mean, like, good for him.
It's proportional. I thought he killed it. I think I'm upset that he lost. Upset that he lost. And it's not because I'm not rooting for Sami to lose as much as I'm rooting for Chad to win because I think he's earned it. And I think we've been doing this song and dance for far too long. We've been doing it since pre-Mania. We've been doing it months before Mania when he was challenging Gunther. And it sucks that he now has this incredible character, this heel character that he is knocking it out of the park with. And I can't see a payoff right now. Not for a long while. Because he is, in my opinion, the character Chad Gable, he's a loser. He's a loser. He lost to Gunther multiple times. He lost to Sami now multiple times, at least a couple of them clean. And it's hard to justify this guy getting another shot ever again. Or not ever again, but for a very long time. And while the money story is going to be him versus Otis, I think that story would have been better with him holding the title. And not that I necessarily needed Otis to beat Gable for the title, but I think Gable needed it to, I guess, cement himself as an actual threat and not just another talented guy. So
he's always been a tag team guy. He's a 3-time tag team champion with 3 different partners. He's more than 3-time. That's just on the main roster. But that's.
Yeah. Danny going in the comments saying he's not getting another shot. They made it pretty clear on commentary. Yeah, no, for sure. He's saying easily could have had Chad win. Otis turn on him just for Chad to reveal the creeds or his new academy. I agree. I think a lot of people are expecting that in the future. I think we're definitely seeing a switch up coming. But I think he needed that title. And I don't, again, in terms of just Chad Gable, who Danny is pointing out, yeah, he did just officially re-sign with WWE. He's going to be there for a while. The payoff isn't going to come until he does eventually win the title, which I don't think he should do until he's a face again. But his heel work is so great that I don't want him to turn to a face for a very long time. So this was, storyline-wise, this was a bungle for me. The match itself was fantastic. Gable playing into being that master technician, just focusing in, honing in on that ankle with Sami, locking in the ankle lock multiple times, even on the outside, not letting up on Sami. Sami struggling with dealing with not just Gable, but Otis as well. Otis, who is still very emotionally conflicted, doesn't know how to align himself. And wanting to do, I guess, the right thing, but still being loyal to his best friend. So interesting storytelling. They are telling a master class right now. The finish coming after Maxine not hitting Sammy with the Intercontinental title. Well, Gable had the referee distracted, falling and hurting her already injured ankle. Otis choosing to not get involved as well, instead saving Maxine, allowing Sammy to get the win with a haluva kick, getting the 1-2-3, and retaining the Intercontinental Championship. So again, good matchup, great action, great storytelling. Wrong finish. At least to me, wrong finish.
I would normally agree because I 100% want to see Chad win that title. I want him. He's never had a singles title, multiple tag team champion with multiple partners. I think he deserves a singles title. I don't think this is the end of it because he took that pin and almost immediately sat up, not immediately, but almost. And he's just sitting there stewing, and they're focusing on him for multiple spots. Okay, here we're cut to Sammy.
I think that stewing was meant for. I think that's going to lead to Otis. I don't think that's leading.
I don't think it's leading to another rematch. Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, personally, I mean, look, if it happens, we at least know the match is going to be good. But quite frankly, it's going to be deflating, even if Gable does win. At this point, there's a point when a guy challenges the same guy for the title too many times, and I don't care if you win.
Yeah.
Because you lost 3 times before already.
I think Chad's got one more in him. We'll see.
We'll see. I personally think he's going right into Otis, but we'll find out on Monday Night Raw.
I think he's going through Otis and back to the title, and he's going to have
if you're Sami Zayn, why do you give him another title shot?
It's not up to Sammy. It's up to the GM. Even if Chad Gable could win a number 1 contender match, Chad Gable could put his career on the line. There's options. There's options. I'm holding out hope for Chad Gable. Let's put it that way.
But moving on from this matchup, what did we have next?
We had the next women's match. It was WWE Women's Champion Bianca Belair. Women's Champion Bayley versus another homegrown Scot in Piper Niven, and of course Chelsea Green is with Piper Niven ringside.
This was a hard one to get through. Not gonna lie. Not because of the quality of the matchup. I think both women had some really good spots. The crowd was not really here for it. They were in an awkward position because Piper Niven being the hometown girl, but Bayley being so beloved. I felt the crowd never really knew what to do or how to feel. I enjoyed the match enough. Again, I thought Piper hit an incredible Michinoku driver near the end. I was like, is she getting the win? That's how good it looked. Bayley hitting an awesome belly to belly off the top rope onto Piper. And Chelsea Green was the absolute MVP, having been getting involved in the matchup and getting
cherry on top.
And getting thrown out of the match, only to come back wearing a Rey Mysterio mask, saying it wasn't her, it wasn't Chelsea Green, and still doing everything she could to back up Piper, which I love. I always hate when it's such a one-sided friendship, but Chelsea was 100% doing everything she could to give Piper that win. I thought that was great. And
I think they're great together, and it's nice to see Piper get this one-on-one opportunity, but also have Chelsea there to, still be a part of it. And also, she was probably one of the highlights of this match. I think the problem with this match is that I think everyone just knew going in, there's not gonna be a title match change. Bayley's gonna have essentially a very similar match minus Chelsea Green at SummerSlam when she takes on Nia Jax. And we all know that WWE prefers Nia Jax over Piper Niven. It's just the way it is.
And that's not even a knock on Nia or Niven. Nia's been killing it lately. Like her or hate her, the truth is she's really upped her game since that return that she did. And yeah, hold on. Let's see. Danny in the comments saying what James just said sums up WWE from '06 until like 2 years ago. Well, I don't know what I said, but I will always appreciate being agreed with. And you face the same person 3 times in a row every single few. Oh, we're talking about we're still talking about Gable and Sammy in those comments.
Okay.
Danny saying Nia is winning the title. I wouldn't be shocked. I absolutely wouldn't be shocked. I don't think Bayley needs a super long reign. I think she had her moment at Mania. And I think Mania to SummerSlam's a nice little run.
It's a solid reign. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was about to say a name I probably shouldn't say. I'm like, his that reign was pretty substantial, even though it was only Mania to SummerSlam. When Randy Orton won his first world title.
I was going to say, was that Mania 20? It was such a lackluster reign. It got so over
Really, you think?
I mean, like, the thing I remember most from that feud was Eugene. Like, he wrestled Kane. He wrestled Triple H again. He wrestled Randy. And those are the only 3 feuds I remember.
All I know, I think Bayley needs to
I agree.
step it up a bit. Like, she's always going to be good. She's always going to be beloved. But she needs to do something to get herself to that next level. And I think that has to be like one of 2 things. Either one of 3 things. She either has to have like a great character, because like I'm like, ding dong hello. It's like no one. It's a fine catchphrase, but no one's gonna buy a T-shirt for that. You know what I mean? Specifically for that.
When she was a heel, and she was being super annoying, it worked for her. I don't know if has she still been doing it as a face?
I don't know.
But yeah, that was definitely an older thing that I do think worked for a time. I just think the reality is with Bayley, she's done everything there is to do in WWE as a woman. She's won the tag title. She's won every singles title that a woman can win in WWE. I don't necessarily need her to go anywhere else. I'm fine with her in WWE, but she needs exciting feuds. This wasn't ever going to be it. And I'm sorry. Like,
it would have been if she had a banger match. I feel like she hasn't had banger matches with anyone other than like Sasha Banks. Like, she'll have good matches.
Ever?
I don't think she's had like an outstanding match other than Sasha the couple times. She has very good performances. Don't get me wrong. But like, I could never be like, okay, this is going to be like match of the night with Bayley.
I think there was. I think she's had good matches against Charlotte. I think her match with Bianca was really good. I think the only bummer about the match with Bianca was that she didn't win it, and that's not even because I necessarily needed her to win it, but I think that's just sort of what stopped it from being a next level Bayley match. But I think her match with Asuka was really good, even though it ended super weird years ago in NXT. But yeah, look, this was a match at I guess B+ pay-per-view, unless you're Scottish, and it was a nothing feud. It just was. So there wasn't really any heat to it. I also think Bayley absolutely needs a new finisher. She didn't win.
We've been over that.
She won with a crucifix pin, getting the 1, 2, 3, and it
was fine.
The title ring. I mean, it makes sense if you're gonna be Piper, but yeah, I hope they immediately go into the Nia feud. Because I think the back and forth on the mic is going to be great, and I agree with Danny on that one. That her matches with Bianca on SmackDown before Damage Control were good. No, I agree. Triple H at the press conference sometimes doesn't always get her flowers given to her, and is one of the absolute best in the world. Also happens to be her birthday today, so if you run into her, don't be afraid to sing and embarrass her. Triple H talking about Bayley. So Danny in the comments saying Matt hates Bayley, didn't see that coming.
Don't hate Bailey. Those matches with Bianca were good, but they weren't bangers. All right, there's a difference.
I don't know, man. It's okay. We accept you for who you are and the choices you make.
I'll put it in perspective. The other horsewoman, I'm saying a bunch of B words and I'm mixing them up. Becky Lynch, she had a banger at WrestleMania this year, and it took forever to get there, but she had a banger cage match with Trish Stratus. That's all happened in the last year. I don't think Bailey has had a banger in the last year.
We're just gonna get past your misogyny and we'll move on to the main event.
I hate women. Okay, put that in the.
I got you. Don't you worry.
Okay, yeah, save that clip.
He's saying their Hell in a Cell was a banger. Yeah,
but no, that's what I said. She's had bangers with Sasha Banks. That's the person she has bangers with.
You can't talk to these people. You just gotta move past it.
She has bangers with Sasha Banks. That's it.
Sure.
Okay. Who don't I hate? Let's go to the main event.
Main event. Oh, 2 men. Shocking.
I love men.
Yeah. World Heavyweight Championship match as champion Damian Priest defends against hometown hero Drew McIntyre. I thought this match was incredible. I got my 2 big meaty men slapping each other's meat from bell to bell. I love this hoss fight. I thought Drew fought like a man possessed. As soon as he had the opportunity, he brought the fight to Priest. And Priest was, I don't want to say he got outshined by Drew, but he was doing everything he could to keep up with Drew, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, getting caught up in that rope, I do not think that was a planned spot. Like that, I think that really hindered him. And I hope he's not seriously hurt, because that looked brutal. Like you look like you pulled ligaments doing that.
Yeah, no, that was rough. Drew played into it well, initially doing the attack, but then the ref making sure to separate them so he can get him out of that spot. Excellent. I don't really know how to cover everything that happened. There was a good spot where Drew claymored Priest through the barricade on the outside. Lots of near falls, lots of 2 counts. Drew absolutely having the crowd behind him. 100%. Lots of signs in the crowd. If Drew loses, we riot. Or if Priest wins, we riot. And unfortunately, I guess fortunately, we don't need rioting. Despite those signs, Drew McIntyre not walking out as World Heavyweight Champion, despite having Priest pinned, hitting a Claymore, but unfortunately, after the referee was knocked to the outside.
Great ref bump, by the way.
Great ref bump.
Ref looked great tonight. Taking some great bumps.
He dove out of that ring to avoid getting hit and then still got hit anyway. Excellent work. Excellent stuff from that referee. Drew hitting a Claymore, having him pinned, no referee in sight until somebody runs down. 1, 2. That's it. He stops counting, and we are revealed that it is CM Punk wearing a referee shirt. He does the old UK middle finger to Drew, and Drew, incensed, grabs him, pushes him against the corner. Punk then low blows him, leaves the ring, and allows Priest to hit him with, what's the name of that move? The
South of Heaven.
South of Heaven. Getting the 1, 2, 3 because the referee miraculously recovered in time, and we are still in the era of Damian Priest. Crowd was incensed. We have this tweet. Drew McIntyre saw Damian Priest have what could have been one of the worst botches we've seen in a while and said, that shit is crazy, but I'm going to keep whooping that ass. And yeah, that he did. Drew, look, I think Drew was trying to buy him some time and trying to make lemonade out of lemons there and try to protect what that botch was. Otherwise, it would have just been an awkward moment.
It was fine.
Yeah. Let's see. Danny in the comments saying, you guys never finish up with comments before moving on. I mean, they come late. And why are you just starting the topic from the title of the video? Thank you, Danny. That tweet producer boy brought up of Drew holding the Scottish flag behind his back like a conquering hero. That pop for Drew was fucking unreal, according to that tweet. And I agree. The crowd, this is 2 clashes in a row where Drew gets screwed out of winning the title. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
I don't know how they got away. I guess they got away with it because Punk is so over. People are just happy to see Punk, I guess. But
fuck him. Fuck him. It makes me hate a city I love. I love Chicago. It makes me hate it. Yesterday, TNA, excellent pay-per-view in Chicago. Killed it. Love that crowd. Because of Punk, I hate everybody that was there.
okay. I mean, it was cool they added the
being rational.
They added a DBA meter, so we got to see what the decimal was of like how loud or that was cool. Called Shock DDT and Aftershock DDT. Not a bad name for a move if you're a wrestler out there looking for a name. I was annoyed. I don't know if I wanted a riot, but I definitely would have liked to seen some trash get thrown into the ring. I think that's a classic wrestling trope. And as long as you're not throwing like beer bottles, which I don't think they even have at these events, like it's probably like plastic, I'm all for it. I'm all for a little rowdiness when
I am anti throwing garbage in the ring. I am pro booing. I am pro middle fingers. I am pro vocal, but anti garbage.
I guess as a podcast, I should say that we are anti throwing stuff into the ring. So I'll just leave it at that. I will say, it seemed like there was a lot of security. Like when
I noticed that too. Go ahead, but I noticed that too. It was almost off-putting.
Producer boy, can you pull up anything from the Royal Rumble when we talk about this? Because it's like an extended long walkway, similar to what we've seen at the Royal Rumble the past couple of years, and it felt like every 10 feet there was just like a security guard standing there. So it's like you couldn't even be up against the barricade.
It was legit
8 feet.
I think it was every 5 feet. I really noticed it during the Piper Niven and Bailey match that no fans were struggling to put their arm out for like a high five because security was just standing on the barricade, arms stretched out, not letting anybody through. And it got better at ringside. At ringside itself, you didn't really see the security. But that rampway, those security guards were not playing. They were not playing. So it was very weird to see.
I mean, maybe that's just how they are in Glasgow. But yeah, I thought it was odd. Also, I guess better safe than sorry, I suppose. But I know me personally, if I bought tickets on the rail, I would want to be able to go like this on the rail. And if I see my superstar come by, my favorite guy, hold my hand out, try and get a high five. If I don't get a high five, give him like the gentle pat on the back, like that kind of thing. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of security guards there that if like something were also, let's be real. Like, how much are you really going to like, oh, maybe you like were able to like punch some guy in the arm, like security would be on you. And also these guys can whoop your ass any day of the week. So I'm going into a rant here. I just thought it seemed like excessive security. I even remember the one spot near the end of it, like some woman, this blonde woman was like giving this guy a hard time who was just standing there. The guy was just kind of like nodding. If I was him, I would have been like, look, lady, I'm just standing here. I'm standing here like this is the seat I paid for. So I don't know what to tell you.
Most of the time I err towards the side of better safe than sorry. Typically, I thought this was a bit much. I hope it didn't detract from anybody in the audience. I had a buddy in the front row, and he was the guy who was flipping off Punk as Punk was at the ring.
Nice, I remember that.
And he seemed unencumbered. So
yeah, security wasn't on that guy's ass, but they seemed to be like everybody else. They're just like 5 feet away,
I think they had weird, strict instructions of what they needed to be aware of and what they were doing. weird by our standards. I know whenever I get like I've done barricade before for WWE, that I've done the rampway, and I could say that security can kind of be an ass, but it was never that bad. I've never seen it that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll have a pick on. I mean, are you working on your phone right now, or?
No, I mean I could go on my phone.
Yeah, see if you see it. Like, just look up Royal Rumble entrance, because I gotta say, like, it just we're beating it to death now, but it's just kind of like it seemed excessive to me. I mean, if they want to act like that afterwards, like when Punk was going back or when Damian Priest was going back, by all means. I mean, I'm surprised the crowd was not more raucous and rowdy and like, fuming, because that's a bold decision what they did.
Let me give it to the crowd real quick. They absolutely came out tonight. They were absolutely on fire all night. I don't know that they were Paris memorable, but they were really good. I'd put them above Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico was great. Lots of fun chants, lots of silly chants, into basically every match but Bayley and Piper Niven. Absolutely were on fire tonight, and I, as a native American, it's tough that we're losing so many of these pay-per-views to international audiences. But as somebody who is watching on TV, they are absolutely making the most of it. They are absolutely giving a good show for the people at home. So I guess that's a fair trade-off.
Did you mean to say you're native to America? Because you said you're Native American.
Yeah. Thank you. Damn it. Yep. No,
it's okay.
Not
I knew what you meant. What you meant. Just covering
as
our
a
bases.
United States resident.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you.
But yeah, so we got Damian Priest. He is still our world heavyweight champion.
Very cool. Very cool.
And
speaking of the match for you.
The Claymore kicks were fun. I still enjoy the barricade exploding.
I do too. I know a lot of people say it gets overplayed, but I love the barricade spot.
Just don't mess it up like LA Knight did. That's my only
Fair
comment.
Enough. Fair enough.
But just speaking of pay-per-views and shows in America, we're getting another one in North America, but it will not be in America next month. It's Money in the Bank in Toronto, Canada.
That we are.
And many people, it's being rumored that Jay Uso will be winning Money in the Bank. So we'll see what happens with that. Have to stay tuned.
I'm all for some creativity with this Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm all for a babyface winner. I know Danny will be able to correct me right away, but I do think it's been a while since we've had a babyface Money in the Bank winner.
Big E.
Yeah, I mean, even that was what, 2021?
Yes. Last year was Damian Priest. The year before that was Austin Theory. Then Big E was the year before that. So yeah, it looks like Damian Priest has some more time on his world heavyweight title run. Hopefully he can make the most of it. I know a lot of people have kind of been like, I think the biggest thing of his title run so far, except for maybe today, I think it's been the cash in was just huge. And the reign itself has been kind of just fine.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. It seems like they're building up to a breakup of Judgment Day, but they're puttering, they're stuttering, they're not going full throttle on it. I think some of that maybe had to do with injuries to Dominic and the injury to Rhea. But we're here. They're making the most of it. I'm excited for what can come next, and I hope Priest gets. I mean, I'd say this was a memorable title defense, but I hope he gets a real memorable title defense that's centered around him moving forward. And I'm excited for both shows, Raw and SmackDown.
I'll say I was impressed with him being able to continue the match because, again, that botch, it looked like he did hurt himself. Hopefully, we're hoping he's not seriously injured. We would hate for him to just have to vacate the title. I would very much like to be, at the very least, have him have another match, lose the title, then go on a hiatus if he needs to. But just hoping the best for our champ, El Campeon, Damian Priest. wishing him well, hoping he's going to be ready for the next title match before we know it.
Absolutely. Anything else you wanted to say about the show?
Nope, that's it. Pretty good show. Not bad for a Saturday afternoon, I'll say.
Yeah, good way to spend the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything you want to say to the audience before we take it home?
I guess, yeah, maybe we'll be at Forbidden Door on June 30th. Maybe we'll be on SmackDown on June 28th. You know, keep following us on the Mark It Down Pod. You know, whether it's X, Facebook, or Instagram, or our individual personal pages. You know, you can find us everywhere, basically, to keep up with us and figure out what we're doing next. But that's kind of what's on the horizon for us as far as shows. So, and then Fanatics Fest will be in August. We haven't discussed whether we're going to that or not, but they just announced during this show, this pay-per-view, they've got like 15 WWE superstars that were going to be there. Initially it was just
Cody, Rhea, and
Hulk Hogan.
And now
so those were the three, and then they announced also off the top of my head, it was LA Knight,
Punk,
Charlotte,
Jey Uso,
Kevin Owens,
Rey
and
Mysterio.
others. Rey Mysterio and others. So definitely it might be worth checking out. It's the first time they're doing it. We don't really know. But if you know the Javits Center, you know they do Comic-Con there, and that's always a good time. So that's about it. You got anything?
No, that's it. Everybody, have a good day. Thank you for being with us here at the Mark It Down Podcast. I'm Matt Cascone. That's James Gisanti. And as always, watch wrestling. As always, watch whatever wrestling you want to enjoy. Have a good one, guys.